Do you know what defensive capabilities your organization has? Do you know what team is doing what to combat threats? Do you have a way of coordinating your defensive efforts? Well, let me introduce you to the Courses of Action Matrix. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Adam, and this channel is all about cyber threat intelligence. I've helped build CTI teams and train clients on the latest tools and technologies. A key strategic tool you need to know is the Courses of Action Matrix. It is used to assess your organization's capabilities, provide situational awareness, and enable you to coordinate your defensive efforts. Let's jump in. The Courses of Action Matrix is a strategic planning tool to identify, evaluate, and prioritize defensive actions against potential threats. It provides a structured framework that security teams can use to orchestrate tactical and procedural responses based on their defensive capabilities. The matrix outlines 7 courses of action that you can take to defend against an attack. These include Discover, where you uncover a threat actor's past activity in your logs. Detect, where you identify an attacker's current activity using detection tools like antivirus, EDR, or IDS. Next is Deny, where you block an adversary's activities using firewall rules, email filtering, privilege restrictions, or more. Then we have Disrupt, where you interrupt a threat actor's activities or the flow of their information to cause them to fail. This could be interrupting their spidering activity if they're attacking your website, quarantining malicious files, or using exploit protections like DEP, ASLR, and application sandboxing. Then we have Degrade, where you're reducing the effectiveness of an adversary's activities. These actions slow down potential malicious actors and give the defenders a chance to respond. It could include rate limiting or stripping attachments from emails. Then we have Deceive, where you're providing misinformation to the adversary which is intended to mislead their actions. This could be using a proxy, using fake email addresses for your company employees, or using a honeypot to capture their TTPs. Finally, we have Destroy, where you intentionally damage an attacker's infrastructure so it is no longer operational. This is called hacking back and is often not legal for most organizations and can cause many problems by interrupting with law enforcement operations. Aptly named the 7 Ds of action, you can split these courses of action into passive and active actions. Passive actions do not have any effect on any of the other actions in the matrix. Meanwhile, active actions are used to actively mitigate threats and may inhibit other actions in the matrix. As a cyber threat intelligence analyst, you will be focused on passive actions, such as Discover and Detect. Actions under Discover rely on searching through captured data to answer a question. For instance, are there any signs we have been compromised by threat actor XYZ in the past 30 days based on their recent campaign? This question is an intelligence requirement. To answer it, you can find all the indicators or IOCs associated with their recent campaign and search for them in your logs. To do this effectively, you can use a model like the indicator lifecycle. If you find an indicator, then you may have been compromised. If not, you can form an assessment based on your confidence level. You may say, I am relatively certain we have not been compromised because we searched for all the IOCs and TTPs associated with that campaign. You utilize Discover to take action and answer intelligence requirement. Discover looks at what has happened, focusing on the past. Meanwhile, Detect focuses on what is currently happening by identifying malicious activity as it occurs. It is the future complement to Discover and nicely pairs with other courses of action like Deny, Disrupt, and Degrade. An example will be setting a detection rule in your SIM solution to trigger whenever a certain action was seen on an endpoint machine or a network packet traveled across the network. When this behavior or indicator was detected, you would then receive an alert in your SIEM's management console that you could then investigate. Discover and Detect are courses of action that do not impact other potential actions. They are passive. You can look at past data or get an alert about what is happening without interfering with another defender's actions. This is not the case for active measures that often prevent other actions. You should always have passive actions as part of your defensive strategy. The courses of action matrix is just a way of categorizing defensive capabilities. To use it in the real world, you need to map these defensive capabilities to a framework that describes how an adversary performs an attack. This mapping allows you to match your defensive capabilities against an adversary's actions and assess your organization's coverage against a cyber attack. There are two main frameworks that security teams will map their courses of action matrix against. These are the cyber kill chain and the MITRE attack knowledge base. Let's take a look at both. The cyber kill chain was one of the first frameworks created to describe a cyber attack. It contains 7 stages that detail each step an attacker usually performs when attacking a target. Each step builds on the previous one, eventually concluding with an attacker accomplishing their goal, or the final stage called actions on objective. Security teams will map their course of action matrix against the cyber kill chain to correlate their defensive efforts against a threat actor's attack path. The chart lets everyone in the organization know what security actions are taking place, what each team is working on to defend against attacks, and what stage of an attack is being defended against. You may have a general chart outlining all ongoing actions, and then more detailed charts that individual teams may use to track a specific campaign or threat actor. Once your organization acquires a new course of action capability, add it to your main chart. If an IP address is found that is related to a campaign you are tracking, add it to its chart. Keeping track of actions being taken lets you identify what security tools provide value to your team, what stage of an attack you are defending against, and what capabilities you are missing. These are all useful metrics to report when it comes time to prioritize the investments your organization is making in security. Every organization should have a chart similar to this. It is a great way to provide situational awareness of your defenders' actions and allow defenders to answer course of action questions. For instance, if a course of action is to sinkhole a malicious IP address, a disrupt action, then there is no point performing a detect or discover action against it. Another framework you can map your defensive actions against is MITRE's attack matrix. This is a knowledge base of tactics, techniques and procedures, or TTPs, that threat actors use to perform cyber attacks. It goes into more detail than the cyber kill chain and even includes specific mitigations or security controls to combat threats. The attack matrix comprises of 14 high-level tactics an adversary may perform during a cyber attack. Each tactic consists of various techniques that an attacker can use to achieve a given goal. They also include specific procedures that can be used to perform a specific technique. Most security teams will map their course of action matrix to the 14 attack tactics. If you want to provide more granular details, you can map actions to specific attack techniques, such as an email gateway to phishing or T1566. This allows you to track what techniques an action defends against. The attack matrix is a great framework for security teams to use and has been widely adopted by the security community as the de facto language for describing how an attack was performed. However, it is exhaustive and can often confuse non-technical stakeholders, so you may find more benefit using a simpler tool like the cyber kill chain when reporting to executives. So now you know what the course of action matrix is and how security teams use it. Why should you bother? There is an overhead in tracking all your defensive actions. Is it worth it? The short answer is yes. It can be used to prioritize security investments by identifying what security tools are providing value, what stage of an attack you are defending against, and what capabilities you are missing. But there is more. Let's take a look at the key factors that make the course of action matrix an essential planning tool in your arsenal. First up, we have coordination and collaboration. Security teams can coordinate their defensive actions to minimize redundant efforts and maximize the efficiency of security tools. Then we have strategic planning. Key stakeholders can quickly analyze what actions are being taken to combat what threats. They can also track and prioritize security investments based on the benefits they provide or the missing capabilities that are needed by the team. The course of action matrix also lets you make tactical decisions. Operational teams can track and assess the organization's defensive capabilities based on TTPs and then prioritize security efforts. They can also see the options available to combat new and emerging threats to make efficient decisions. The course of action matrix also provides evidence-based resiliency. The matrix allows an organization to assess its defensive capabilities accurately, using collated evidence, allowing them to understand how resilient they are against a cyber attack. And finally, the matrix empowers critical thinking. It requires defenders to think critically about what actions they can take to combat threats, assess new actions available, and maximize the value of their existing security tools. Despite the course of action matrix being an invaluable tool for security teams, you will likely find several challenges when working with the matrix in the real world. Let's look at the common ones you'll come across and how you can overcome them. Firstly, the matrix requires strong communication between all teams in your organization. For the matrix to work, you need strong communication channels between your IT team, infrastructure team, and security team. Everyone needs to report what actions they are taking. Everyone needs to be aware of what actions other teams are taking. And everyone needs to be invested in collaborating with other teams to enhance defensive capabilities and not perform redundant work. A failure to communicate and collaborate will negate the many benefits the matrix provides. You may also find potential difficulties with the blocking actions of the matrix. The active actions on the course of action matrix will block other actions. A deny action will prevent you from running a discover or detect action. This might mean you lose out on intelligence. You don't see the malware that is being executed, and then you cannot pick up on other IOCs or TTPs exhibited in the cyber attack. You need to carefully consider all the courses of action available to you based on your current defensive capabilities. What actions will drive the most value, and weigh that against the risks certain actions have. It may be too risky to let malware detonate in your environment. That's okay, just consider the potential losses in threat intelligence. You may also struggle to balance operational security and intelligence. The course of action matrix will put your security operations and intelligence teams in conflict. The intelligence team will want all the intel they can get. They won't want other teams performing active actions that block the intelligence generation. Meanwhile, the operations team will want to make their life as easy as possible by running all the deny, disrupt, and degrade actions they can. This will stop the threat immediately. You must balance intelligence requirements that gain a deeper insight into an adversary's activities against operational demands that lower the risk to your environment. This requires comprehensively assessing all actions available across all your security teams and accepting a certain level of risk for a greater payoff in the long run. The next challenge you might come across is navigating legal and compliance frameworks. As you move to the right of the course of action matrix, the legality of some of the actions can become questionable, particularly the destroy actions. Offensive actions that reduce the ability of an adversary to operate may not be legal for most entities. This hacking back activity can cause substantial trouble if not done legally, and may have far-reaching consequences that you may not be aware of when you perform an action, such as disrupting law enforcement operations your government is involved in. Additionally, you may need to implement certain actions based on compliance requirements, such as security controls that inhibit other actions from being taken. This goes back to the challenge of balancing operational security and intelligence generation. A final challenge that many security teams come up against when using the course of action matrix is keeping up with their new capabilities. Many security teams fail to perform the ongoing maintenance required to get full value from the matrix. As your security team gains new capabilities, These must be added to your course of action matrix and shared with other teams. This ongoing maintenance is required to make informed decisions across teams when assessing what actions can be taken. The matrix is not a set and forget tool. I recommend reviewing your course of action matrix monthly to accurately assess your capabilities and what actions are available. New capabilities can come from investing in new tools or getting updates, discovering tool features, or developing team members' skills. The course of action matrix is a tool every security team should use. It allows you to assess your defensive capabilities, coordinate efforts across your security teams, and drive critical thinking. You must map out your defensive actions to know how resilient you are from a cyber attack. Every security team should use a course of action matrix to track their capabilities. From a threat intelligence perspective, it will provide your team with situational awareness and help answer intelligence requirements. I recommend implementing a basic one right now and making it more granular as you dive deeper into specific TTPs you can defend against. Stay tuned for more deep dives into CTI topics and concepts.